NPRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster who's got a, what is it called when you improperly use an iron setting? It's been a while. It's been a while since I've ironed. But when I did, the most recent time I ironed incorrectly. Because it was like it was before a flight. It was thought it was going to be a quick iron. Like, this is supposed to be a quick start of a sleep podcast. And you know what? Turns out iron settings matter sometimes. Not really that big of a situation. It just means that one of the sleeves on the shirt I'm wearing at this moment has a little, has some small holes in it to let the air in. So that's a bonus. Now, if you're wondering, there's probably there's a lot of hot air coming from somewhere right now. And if you're wondering about that, you're in the right place. It's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that's here to keep you company, take your mind off stuff, to be your friend in the deep, dark night, because you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a bedtime you could look forward to. Now, this podcast might not be the one that provides it, but I hope it does. I am so glad you're here. So glad if you're new or you're a regular listener or you're giving it a couple tries to see how it goes. Thanks for checking this show out. What we're going to do is have some support. Then we'll have a long meandering intro that goes nowhere, kind of like this. And then we'll have our story. It's because it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And this support is how we're able to do it for you free twice a week. Hey, everybody, it's Scoots. This is one of the messages where I ask you to think about becoming a patron or supporting the show by spreading the word or supporting a sponsor. The best way to support the show, though, is directly on Patreon, and only if you're in a position to do so. But if you are in a position to do so, to support the show $5, $10, $20 a month, or maybe cut back on one of the other streaming services you might not use as much as Sleep With Me, just think about for a second, what would I do if I didn't have Sleep With Me to listen to? Like, if you say, oh, I just listen to something else. Yeah, you don't need to support the show. But if you say, well, I'd really miss it. Now, I'm doing my best to make sure Sleep With Me stays free and coming out twice a week. So you don't got to worry about that. But I do that with help of people that are in a position to support the show, to be a rebel with the cause. sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. So if you could afford to support the show either annually or monthly at $5, $10, or $20 a month, just say to yourself, well, what would I do without Sleep With Me? And if it's an easy answer, probably you don't need to support the show or support it because of the bonus content or ad-free episodes or something else. But if the answer is, oh boy, I don't know, and you can afford it, please support the show, particularly right now. I mean, it's a time, it's not an easy time for anybody. So just ask yourself that question if you're listening. Well, what did you do? What did you do before Sleep With Me? And what did you spend money on before Sleep With Me to help you fall asleep? And then be a rebel with cause, support a free podcast, sleepwithmepodcast.com/patrons, sleepwithmepodcast.com/patrons. Thanks, everybody. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. It's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, BetterHelp, everybody. And, I'm always wishing life came with a user manual, whether it's as simple as deciding what's for dinner or having a serious talk with someone in my personal life, or when I can't sleep and I've got the thoughts and the feelings, I say, oh, man, what should I do about this? Because unfortunately, life doesn't come with a user manual. When it's not working for you, it's normal to feel stuck. And that's why BetterHelp Online Therapy is the next best thing. Navigating any of life's challenges can make you feel unsure, whether it's a career change, a new relationship, or becoming a parent. Therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and learn productive coping skills, which makes therapy the closest thing to a guided tour of the complex engine called you. BetterHelp has connected over 3 million people with licensed therapists. It's convenient and accessible anywhere, 100% online. And like I said, I go to therapy every single week. I get coping skills, and I can learn how to be my best when things are not going well, to be there for the other people in my life and to help them when they're not at their best. And that's why in my personal life, I'm always happy to recommend talk therapy and BetterHelp to people. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/sleepwithme. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/sleepwithme. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix Sleep. Now, you might hear me talk about how much I love my Helix, but let me tell you, when the seasons are changing, holy mackerel. You know, I took that Helix quiz and I got matched with a mattress because I sleep hot. And that's one of the things I love about the Helix Dusk that I have. I've got the Dusk Luxe. Like, even if I'm piling on those covers, I don't have to worry about getting too hot or too stuffy. So it makes that cozy season so much better. When I'm getting in bed, I'm snuggling down, I could sink in, I can get comfortable, and I can get a great night's sleep. Now, I don't know how old the mattress you're sleeping on is, but it's time to take the Helix quiz. It's at helixsleep.com/sleep. And Helix is a premium mattress brand that provides tailored mattresses based on your unique sleep preferences. The Helix lineup has 14 unique mattresses, including a collection of luxury models, a mattress for big and tall sleepers, and even a mattress made just for kids. And the way you find the mattress that works best for you and your body is you take that Helix quiz. You get matched with the perfect mattress for you in under 2 minutes, and your personalized mattress comes shipped straight to your door, free of charge. Helix knows there's no better way to test out a new mattress than by sleeping on it in your own home, and that's why they offer a 100-night risk-free trial. That way you can try out your new Helix mattress, see how your body adjusts, and if you decide it's not the best fit, you're welcome to return it for a full refund. It's a perfect combination of comfort and support. And that's why I love my Helix Dusk Luxe. And having the springs with the foam does make a huge difference for me in feeling supported but feeling comfortable. Not only is the mattress the best I've slept on, but the setup was fast and easy. Plus, Helix mattresses are American made and come with a 10 or 15-year warranty depending on the model. And remember, you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. If you don't love it, I know you will, but if you don't, they will pick it up for you and give you a full refund. And Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep. With Helix, better sleep starts now. That's helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it is time for the Sleepy Supporter Zone. What part of the podcast I need you here? It's where I pop my peas, if you please. I thank the listeners who supported the sponsors, and that's what's keeping the show coming out free twice a week. I really appreciate listeners like Joey who supported BetterHelp and then let me know about it. Let BetterHelp know about it. That's how we keep these direct response sponsors. You know, they base their support on how much support they get from our listeners. So it is essential, if you enjoy the free podcast, to sign up for a free trial. Support a sponsor. Let them know about it like Joey. When you use a sponsor or try a sponsor out, let them know you heard about them on the show. Thank you, Joey. You can fill out the form at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsors if you want to join Joey on the Sleepy Supporter Zone. The second part of the Sleepy Supporter Zone is you getting the support you need right now. If you're having a tough time, there's links to resources in the show notes that you could connect with right now, including international resources. It's also about being a part of our communities, being a part of positive change, not just saying Black Lives Matter, not just saying stop AAPI hate, not just saying support Ukraine, but learning more, taking action. Links to resources are in the show notes. And one of the things we're doing is building hygiene kits for people experiencing homelessness, bringing them to the Midnight Mission in Los Angeles, and working on a couple other organizations here in the Bay Area. If you want to take part for free even, just join us for live streams, for get-togethers. Be a part of sleepwithmepodcast.com/midnight mission, sleepwithmepodcast.com/midnight mission. And that's it. Oh, Mystery Bard, a lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Posty poster son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes. Carl W. the legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the mystery bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah,
Anonymous Mystery Bard. Don't forget, you could get sleep phones, Sleep With Me branded sleep phones, sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. Most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you can set aside whatever is keeping you awake. It could be thoughts, things on your mind that you're thinking about, maybe about the past, maybe about the present, maybe about the future. Maybe all those things at the same time. I mean, that's normally what happens. They say, oh boy, I got thoughts. I got plenty. I guess people are probably, has anyone, I don't know if anyone's ever said this, but I'm sure a lot of people have thought it. I got thoughts to spare. Holy cow. Spare thoughts? I guess you could, I guess I've had a few, because my brain does it my way. So thoughts, it could be feelings, anything emotionally coming up for you related to those thoughts or leftover from the day. You could be dealing with physical sensations. A lot of listeners are. Changes in time, temperature, routine, something unexpected or something you're anticipating, you're working towards, or that's coming up. Or it could be something else. Whatever it is that's keeping you awake, I'm here to take your mind off of that and keep you company so that you could fall asleep, because you're the most important part of this podcast, because you deserve a good night's sleep. Really, you do. You deserve a place you could rest, where you could feel comfortable and safe. A bedtime you could feel neutral about or look forward to. A bedtime you don't have to dread, particularly like me. When it was the worst when I was a kid, I would start dreading bedtime, Sunday night bedtime, on Sunday around 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I know a lot of you are nodding your heads because you've been there. Even now it comes up, when I'm going through it. And if I can help keep you company through that, or help alleviate some of that, be a part of a bedtime routine and some structure that you look forward to, that would be my honor. Because not only do you deserve a good night's sleep, if you get a good night's sleep, your life is going to be more manageable and our world will be a better place to be in because your life's better. And that is true. I don't care. I mean, what your critic says or what scoffers say, internal or external. It's true. You deserve a good night's sleep. And the other thing is, while I might not know exactly what you're going through, I know how it feels in the deep, dark night. And there's hundreds of thousands of other people listening right now that know what it feels like in the deep, dark night, that can at least relate to what you're dealing with. Well, we might not know exactly what it is. And that's important too. We are connected in this strange digital way. The other thing is this podcast doesn't work for everybody. Give it a few tries. That's what those hundreds of thousands of people that regularly listen say. They say, hey, it took 2 or 3 tries to get used to the show because it's very different. But you don't have to like this podcast. There's no pressure to fall asleep and no pressure to listen. I'll talk about that coming up, but you don't even have to like the show. There's other sleep podcasts out there. I've got a list of sleepy stuff at sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. Because whether you like me or the podcast, it doesn't change the fact you deserve a good night's sleep and a place you can get some rest. So what am I going to do? How does this work? Oh boy, talk about, get ready, because get ready for long spare thoughts and long-winded spare thoughts. I've got a few. What I'll do is I'll send my voice across to the deep, dark night. Then I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, which means my voice is not traditionally soothing. Pointless meanders and superfluous tangents. So I'll go off topic, I'll get mixed up, and then I'll backtrack, then I'll forget what I was talking about. But I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off stuff and, help you fall asleep. I got mixed up there. So what do you need to know if you're new? Or you're a regular listener, maybe you want a little reminder. So this is a podcast you don't really listen to. It's a podcast you just kind of barely listen. You say, okay, well, I'm just gonna kind of barely listen to you, and just, but I'll pay a little bit of attention. So, almost like an out of focus thing. Some people are listening for comfort and distraction, but some people are just they're like, yeah, go ahead. No, oh yeah, totally. What were you saying? Okay, Or some people are they have me lowered to a mumble, or, they got a pillow over their head. That's cool. So this is a podcast you can kind of just barely listen to. We've all done it before. I don't know, particularly if you're playing a game on your phone. Sometimes you don't even know. This is the only place where it's okay to do it. You say, oh yeah, tell me about your day. Okay, let me move that over there. Okay, I don't play any games with purple gem there. What is that, ruby? Okay, let me move that. Moonstone, okay. Okay, let me get that moonstone. Okay, what is that? Is that an emerald? Okay, let me get that emerald. Oh yeah, no, I'm listening. I was talking out loud? No, sorry, I was this podcast, that's totally fine behavior. And it just happens. We're just human. Having these phones in our hands during the day, especially after school or work, we're learning. So this is an opportunity to behave that. You say, and some listeners are doing that. They're playing a chill phone game or drawing or whatever. So, you just kind of barely listen and see how it goes. So that's, you just kind of barely listen. Also, it doesn't put you to sleep. But you say, wait a second, this is the original sleep podcast. It doesn't put me to sleep. No, I'm here to keep you company while you fall. No pressure to fall asleep. I'm here to keep you company while you drift off, to be your bore friend, your bore bae, your bore sib, your bore bud, your bore burr, your neighbor. Your friend in the deep dark night. I'm here to keep you company, not to put you to sleep. And if you can't sleep, there's listeners that aren't going to be able to fall asleep. That's okay. I'm going to be here to the very end. Or if you wake up, I'll be here. You need a break during the day, a little distraction. I'm here to keep you company, whether you're awake or asleep, whether you're listening or not. So just kick back and listen, because I'm going to barely make sense the whole time. But I'm actively not making sense. Sometimes I guess I wouldn't say I'm passively ever not making sense. But there probably is a passive part of me that's passive than active. I don't know. I went down. That's a pointless meander that I don't have an answer to. But those are two things that are hard to get used to at first, because you probably came here with some expectations. When's the boring, soothing part going to get started? When do you start rubbing bowls or whatever it is, or chant? I say, oh, well, this show's a little bit different than that. It's just like a friend talking to you and telling a story. Eventually I'll tell a story. Well, eventually I'll talk about an episode of Ted Lasso. But it'll take me a while to get there. And what else? I forget. Those podcasts you don't listen to, doesn't put you to sleep. A couple other things that throw people off, other than you say, wait a second, this is a podcast, when's it get soothing? I say, well, yeah, you got me. I don't know if it's soothing once you get used to it. It's just a different kind of soothing. You see all those things people get done at spas. You say, that does not look soothing to me. But then they say, wait, you got to try it. And you say, with those cups that give you kind of hickeys all over. I could do that with the vacuum cleaner. And they say, trust me, it's so so relaxing. And I say, okay, maybe one day, I said, one day I'll be in a position to relax and try those relaxing things. Okay, so what else do you need to know? The structure of the show is very intentional, but it can throw people off, so I just want to tell you about it. And regular listeners know, but it can always use a reminder. What up, my regular listeners? What up, pets and fishes warm-blooded, cool-blooded pets. Pets, I don't know. Are there pets without a circulatory system? I don't have enough knowledge of biology to answer that. If your pet's got exoskeletons, whatever it is, robots, pet rocks, all of you, what up? I'm here to keep your human asleep or, keep him company. Oh, but the structure of the show. So the reason the show's structured this way, one, I guess I'll explain it. It starts off with a greeting. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So you feel seen and welcome in, and you say, well, I might check this show out. So far. Or believe it or not, some people even at the greeting, they say, oh, this is clearly not for me. And they say, okay, that's, if they figure it out that fast and move on, that's a win for all of us. But I mean, I guess it's not a win because you say, well, this show does take a while to get used to. So it does reward, I don't know, it has one of those things like a high clearance or something, just because it's so hard to get into sleep with me. But once you get into it, if it works for you, it works great. And there's really no way for me to lower that, whatever, I don't know what you call it. There's a term for it, but just because you gotta get through it, you say, wait a second, this dude has creaky dulcet tones and makes no sense. He's not qualified. Whoa. On episode 3, you go, oh, that makes him totally qualified for this podcast. But it takes a while. But the greeting's the first part. It welcomes you in to say, well, I'll check this out. Then we do our best to make sure the show comes out free twice a week. So then you say that's the sponsors and the listener support, because it just takes so much work to put the podcast out, but then you don't have to worry about it. It's like an exchange. You say, okay, it's free. Cool. So the sponsors and the support enable us to do that. Then there's support for listeners and people having a tough time right now, and support for the communities around the show. Then there's the intro, which is separate from the support part. And we're like 10 minutes into, but the intro is meant to ease you into bedtime. As I explain what the podcast is, to give you a transition or a twilight period, or for a lot of regular listeners, they're not even in bed, or they're getting comfortable, but they're doing some sort of wind down activity or getting ready for bed. And the intro ideally is part of that process, because that's what's been shown to work over and over again, is having some sort of wind down or ramping down or lowering of the volume. And so the intro is reflective of that. It's just a part of that process. Now, there is a small percentage of people that are asleep. Oh, we're so happy for you. Oh, boy, are we. Or that skip the intro. That's cool. There are more people that are fans of only intros than there are people that skip the intro, but it's not it's just, as you become a regular listener, you kind of adjust how you listen. So that's the intro. Then there's support again between the intro and the story, so the show can be free. Then there's a story. Tonight we'll be talking about the last episode, I think, of season 1 of Ted Lasso. I only say that because I don't have any notes in front of me, but, and like you say, well, I don't watch that show. Don't worry. Oh boy, will it be relaxing. Or you say, I'm a Lasso super fan. I say, what's a Lasso super fan call themselves? A Lasso super fan. Well, then it could be a Ted Lasso. I'd say you should be a Ted Lasso super fan, because otherwise you say, is that what Roy Rogers was? And you say, I don't know. I think you're mixing. And I say, okay. Or, I don't know. I'm picturing somebody with a lasso. Say, you could be a fan of lassoing. But yeah, I'd say lassoing. It's hard because the lasso. I mean, what are other super fans called? Trekkies, lassies. Yeah, there you go. Boom. I didn't mean to say boom. I'm sorry. But holy cow. If that isn't a thing, let's make it a thing. I'm a lassie. Drew and Scooter. I'm a lassie, man. What's that? It's like a Trekkie, but for Ted Lasso. The show. I mean, I'm a Ted Lasso fan, but I'm a fan of the streaming program Ted Lasso. I'm a lassie. Wouldn't that be a fan of Lassies? No, because that'd be confusing because you say, no, you're not Lassie. That's the dog on the show I'm a fan of. I'm a Lassie fan. See, Lassie fan's easier because most people, there was a show with a dog who was a hero called Lassie, I think. And I'm maybe getting mixed up. And you say, well, how is Lassie as a fan of, and I say, oh yeah, it's spelled like the drink and not like, well, that wouldn't make sense either because there should be an O in there. But, yeah, we'll figure it out. I just invented it. But it probably is the other thing. You say, yeah, Trekkie Lassie. Is there, I mean, it usually takes shows being on the air for longer, but, I guess you'd call it TEDCon. No, there's TED, that thing. And LassoCon would be confusing. Again, you could have these 2-level conventions. You could have a Ted Lasso convention would be like the speakeasy of a TED convention. Or LassoCon. The great that could be a new podcast, LassoCon, the biggest lasso heist in history. Or I guess you'd say, well, if it's a con, it's not a heist. I say, well, you'll have to listen to the podcast. It was solved by Lassie. Because Lassie, if there was problems that Lassie would solve, they'd probably be rope-based problems, ideally. Right? I mean, that's just an accident I fell upon. But you say, oh, yeah. Because there was like another version of Lassie called Flipper, which was a dolphin. Believe it or not, this was a TV show on mainstream. This is when there was no streaming. They had shows, because you used to be able to watch them at like Nick at Night and stuff. There was a show with the talking horse. I don't even know. I think I don't know if that was I think it was a sitcom. Then there was Lassie and Flipper were action shows. And there was other ones I don't even remember. But I'm not kidding. And I used to watch it as a kid, like the reruns, because there wasn't anything else. I mean, I think it might have been a decent show. But so there was like I think it was a family, and it would be a procedural, and the dolphin would be a key part of solving the procedural. Or the dog, Lassie. What does that have to do with anything? Well, I was just saying, as a I'm now a Lassie. So, yeah. I make a sleep podcast. So we'll talk about Ted Lasso. Then there'll be some thank yous at the end of the show. That was a giant pointless meander. Holy moly. I could go on and on and on, though. I'm going to have to rewatch those shows. I already have another procedural I have to rewatch for a future series. But I will go into Pluto and see if they have either Lassie or Flipper on there. That's like the whatever, like so I guess that's it. I'm glad you're here. That's the structure of the show. It's why I make the show. I really hope I can help. I really yearn and I strive, and I really hope I can help you fall asleep. Thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple of ways we're able to do this for free twice a week. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about ZocDoc. And you know what ZocDoc is all about? It's finding quality doctors and helping you identify the right doctor for you. Because if you're a fan of it, you love sushi, but you're not going to buy sushi at a gas station. It's finding the right sushi that makes all the difference. And the same goes for finding the right doctor. With ZocDoc, booking an appointment with a doctor that suits your needs, fits your schedule, is in your network, and in your neighborhood is easy. And when I was looking for an eye doctor, I used ZocDoc. My favorite part was looking at the patient reviews and saying, okay, when's this doctor available? I like and relate to these reviews. It makes me feel comfortable. I could see where their office is located. All the bases were covered. Now I use ZocDoc, and you should too. ZocDoc is a free app that shows you doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them. On ZocDoc, you can find every specialist specialist under the sun. Whether you're trying to straighten your teeth, fix an achy back, get a mole checked out, or anything else, ZocDoc has you covered. ZocDoc's mobile app is as easy as ordering a ride to a restaurant or getting it delivered to your house. Search, find, and book doctors with a few taps. You could find and review local doctors, read verified patient reviews from real people who made real appointments. And now, when you walk into that doctor's office, you're all set to see someone in your network who gets you. Go to ZocDoc.com and find the doctor that is right for you. Book an appointment in person or remotely that works for your schedule. And every month, millions of people use ZocDoc, and I'm one of them. It's my go-to whenever I need to find and book a quality doctor. Go to ZocDoc.com/sleep and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/sleep. ZocDoc.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Everybody, Scoots here. We're talking Lasso, the last episode of season 1. This won't be the last you hear of Lasso, though. Now, all you lassies out there, or what would it be, lassies or lasses? I guess you'd say, well, you'd probably go with lasses. What kind of dogs are those? I forgot. But what's a fan of those kind of dogs and Richard Blaze called? Lasses, man. I'm a fan of, that's my two favorite things in the world. I'm a fan of the TV show Lassie and Richard Blaze. I'm a Lasses. And it's spelled not like it sounds, but like you'd spell Lassie combined with Blaze, like with I don't know how to spell it, but I know it's a sight word for me. And now I'm saying, there hasn't been a lot of reboots of, animal-based films. Understandably, I'm not saying to do it. Well, I'm saying, I mean, if you were to take, I'm way off topic. But if you were to take my favorite, one of my fortes, Will Forte, I think a Flipper reboot in the hands, like with Will Forte, or a Lassie reboot, that could be something I could like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know some people are nodding along with me, but we're talking about fans of the show Ted Lasso, super fans of this podcast, which you said earlier, you may have said to yourself, I'm a lassie. Now I'm saying I'm a lassie, man. A lasso. But we don't say it that slow. We just say lassie. It's kind of like you're mispronouncing. No, it's not like I'm mispronouncing Lassie. I'm thinking Richard Blaze. I'm saying Lassie in order to proclaim my fandom of Ted Lasso. Oh, but what I was saying is we will be covering an episode for the holiday season. So this won't be the last you hear. Don't worry, lassies, or lassies, we'll respell it like the drink, for our own I don't know why, but you'll hear more soon. But this is episode 10, and oh boy, if a sleep podcast audience could relate to one quote, I'm sure. I mean, I know I wasn't raised with this exact quote, but I was raised, honestly, with a philosophy similar to this quote: "The hope that kills you, it's the hope that kills you." And according to my notes, it opens with music that goes into Lycon whistle. I thought that said it WHSLE is what it says. Nate Lycon. But I think it says whistling Nate, turning the lights on. See some clean boots in the inbox. There's an inbox and an outbox. In fact, everything's clean. Followed Wolf new clothes. Followed Wolf new clothes attendant. There's a new locker room attendant or new some kind of attendant. Nate is hostile. You can my name, Nate Dog. Promoted. Everyone's happy. So I'll explain it later, but it's a bit like Toy Story, but I'm not sure what that means. Nate, his he even takes a second to burn Colin. Coach Nate, loud whistle. Oh, I said, does that reference a Toy Story reference about, Claw? Don't worry, we'll look into it. Don't call it like the itch of, so we'll look that up. Mr. Muscle. We'll look those up at the end of the page, or maybe we'll come back and then we'll go Kaplan Face Off. Beard loves it. Captain Face Off. So what happens is, if you haven't followed me so far, Nate comes to work. There's a new kid doing Nate's job. Nate's not happy about it. Very hostile to first. Ted plays him a little bit. Whoa, what's going on? I'm looking into it. Rebecca comes. He gets mad at Rebecca. Find out there's he gets promoted. Everybody is happy. He gets a whistle. Oh, that's the part like Toy Story. And then he blows a whistle very loudly. And then the episode begins. Then Ted and Beard in the office. Roy comes in. He said, I forgot Roy's name. How did I do that? He says, you got to pick a new captain. Ted says, no, you do, but it's funnier than that. Trust me. Ted also does sleight of hand. And then we reveal that Roy has developed love for Ted. And he says he loves you. Unskinny Bop. That's a great line. And we'll just go on a tangent about it now. Ted says, I love, that's like the kind of stuff I love. He says, here's the Unskinny Bop or something, which I talk about. It's been a while since I talked about it. If you take that song, is that the same song? Skinny Bop, right? But I don't think it's the same song. It's by a band called Hanson, which was three brothers with long, sandy blonde hair, I think you'd say. Seems like they were around in the aughts, but I think it was probably a 90s band. And they had a song, well, I call it Tube Top because that's all I can think of. And if you listen to it and you want to sing along for fun, you just say tube top, 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 tube top, Tibby, top, top, tube top, 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 tube. Timmy, top, top, tube top. And it goes on and on like that. But I don't know if that's the same song, but I love how Ted says that, talking relationships or something, Collins and Nana, talking relegation, Collins and Nana, no relegation in the U.S. Yeah, everyone pretty much is fine with it. Nate whistles, not inside. Jamie, this was a wonderful choice by a stylist or whoever. Jamie has a haircut that looks good on Jamie because he's Jamie, but it's what I would qualify as a young boy's haircut on picture day. And he says that Ted's like a rodeo clown. Final nail into the ashes. Is that really what it says? Dialogue, we'll check it. Premier League Championship irony. Pub's crew says thanks. Have a little hope, May. It's the hope that kills you. Tax, Nate, Ted, dislikes ties, hopeless. Ted puts his hands on his knees, Beard, one piece of popcorn. I just like that choice, too. He just takes one piece of popcorn and eats it. Quick question. Are those only clothes you have? Believe, infloss, or can't, soccer goals, negative Nellies, Ted and Rebecca. Good eye, small fry. You are not a proper football manager. Just something, wow, DISLUCK. Every something has its cause confidence, create chaos, Ted, tall grass dough. Trick plays, Ted goes, something, or even lawn dye, set pieces. Oh, they say, Sam says, oh, elaborate set pieces, you mean? Chaos, stun. The Sandman, which is a trending show right now. Los Tigres, positive, punitive, chitty, chitty, bang, bang. Some of them I'm like, wait a second, these are gags. In the Harlem Globetrotter, smiley face there. In the Harlem Globetrotter music, it's playing in the background. No way. Pomade. Wise guy callback. No, there's some callback. USI callback. Lasso likes your texts, Keely. Rings bell. Roy. Egg. Sucks. Shall I make scones? 2 coffees for Keely. Oh, this is a music. This is, I said, if there's a Lasso musical. Not that, I mean, I should be getting into that because of all the stuff going on with other shows, but I say that would be a good song for it. 2 coffees for Keely. I mean, go ahead and take it, like official Lassos. Take it from me and the Lasses. 2 coffees for Keely. That's a song for a musical. I guess you're not, like, I'm freely giving this to only the people that own the, like, show, but, just makes sense. 2 coffees for Keely. That would be showing Keely's dilemma earlier this season. Roy locks it up and throws away the key at Jamie. Mushy peas. Ted FaceTime. Coach does not do anything during the game. You got to hope, kind of like being a dad. Prequay. The hope that kills you. Keely does not care. Turnip. That doesn't make any sense. Today, I care very much. A lot. Oh, Arlo and Chris. Looks like Arlot Crow Chris. To rip. Keely does not care. To rip turnip. Bex and Rupert, Higgins, whole family. Cool parent, cool present, cool parent. Higgins, oh, cool priest. Higgins has a noisemaker. Roy makes Isaac captain. Never stop breathing. Branding. Never stop something. TG's. Ted bans brings in pocket speech. No, I disagree. I believe in hope. Belief. Do you believe? In miracles. Sam smile. Do you circle up? Richmond on 12. Isaac says. Skip dates. From movie or real life? Both. Jamie stares at Roy. Jamie does not score. Takes a selfie. Zorro. Oh, takes it himself. Zorro stops it. Zorro. Offside jokes. Vintage ketchup. I don't know what that's. Catchy. Corner. Sandman. Almost half. Coaches Delante. El Dente, do not check the score. Not playing for a tie. Win and in. Do you hear me? Roy warm up. Follow me. Roy, 61 minutes. Penalty not shown. Why? Oh, there's a penalty. Against Richmond. They score. They don't show the penalty. They show the goal. 1 mil to go. Richmond, Jamie, Roy catches him. Not getting up. Physics, knee. Sam makes him listen to the Roy cheering. More than decades, gals. Explain back to Isaac. Roy nods at Ted. Captain back to Isaac. Roy nods at Ted. More than a decade, Gales. I don't know. Jamie stunned. Farewell. There's off, Jersey. That can't be correct. Teach your wants, inquiries. That looks like a Miss Ignacio. Games. Book your worth. Takes off farewell. Takes off Jersey. Okay, that makes sense. I was like, why would the state of New Jersey be involved in this? Teach your worth? I don't know. Roy, get out. Stay. So Roy, Keeley comes in the locker room. Roy's down. He says, stay away. She takes him in her arms. Then there's lots of phones and ringing. Nate can interpret it. What the heck? Nate can tell. Palace won 6-0. Just a tie. 3 months. Richmond sells it. Lasso, spread. Holy smokes. Feel, foothold. Sam in motion. Zorro. 4th and something. Sam to Danny. Rojas. Cheers. Even. Robid. Everyone something happy. Everyone hugs, but Jamie breaks, makes extra pass. Hendricks stunned. Sad music is quiet stunned. Ted, tough loss. Rupert left alone by Bex. Text from son. Jamie and Jamie's dad. He's a jerk. Locker room kid. Offers Ted water. Zorro, Roy, grand to even look and going through something worse than being sad, being alone. Oh, so Ted makes another great speech. So there's something worse than being sad that's being alone and sad. Sam, what is that metaphor I told you at the beginning of the season? Well, be like a goldfish. And then they say, contextually, could you explain that to me? He says, well, while Dory is not a goldfish, Dory's condition in both those movies, better like Dory 2, Dory's Story, and what was the other first one? Finding Nemo. That's a great way to describe it if you've seen those films. So be like a goldfish. Even though Dory's not a goldfish, you could say be like Dory. But that might be, and then after we're done being sad or angry or sad together, let's be like a gosh darn goldfish. Beard brings Jamie a note from Ted. Great job on that extra pass. For your awards night, Jamie, love letter. But basically, Jamie has something snarky to say. Way to make extra pass, Ted. And there's an army person in there. Nana walk phone. Never walk alone. Knock beneath your Leslie. Knock, knock. That you, Leslie? Thank you, Leslie. This is, it's my mom's name. I'm a feminine junior. And then Ted goes off as, Leslie Higgins is there. Oh, let me talk to Rebecca alone, basically have a seat. They talk, we'll do the dialogue, but and then it closes with Ted spitting water in her face. Okay, so let's just look up a couple of these things real quick before we get to the episode run through. Okay, so we'll start with Nate Dogg, because I thought that'd be something everybody would recognize, but maybe not. Nate Dogg was an American singer, rapper, the nickname King of Hooks, career started in the 90s as a member of 213, a trio in the 90s with his friends Snoop Dogg and Warren G. And then he sang Warren G's hit Regulate. And then Nate would become a fixture in West Coast hip hop, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Exhibit in the 90s, and then start working with more and more artists. Eminem, 50 Cent, Fabulous, Mos Def, Ludacris, charted 16 times on the Billboard Hot 100. Number one on 50 Cent's 21 Questions. Was on the next episode, A&M, Dr. Dre's, and then Eminem's Till I Collapse. Also, Nate Dogg released 3 of Nate Dogg's own studio albums. So it's just a little bit about Nate Dogg. Okay, I'm just looking up Mr. Muscle. This is in the, let me see what comes up. And it doesn't come up there. This was just something they were talking about. Anyway, I couldn't find anything. So, but that was Mr. Muscle. Something, and then Skinny Bop. Let's see if that's the song I was thinking of. Skinny Bop. Wait a second. I guess I was wrong. Unskinny Bop is a Poison song. So I guess I'll have to look up Hanson after this, but Unskinny Bop is a Poison song. So that's like a 80s hair band or glam band. It was came out in 1990. It was the first single on their third album, peaked at number 3, and it was shrouded in obscurity. So here's the Unskinny Bop. But they said they liked the phrase because it was phonetically suited to their music. Okay, well, turns out I didn't get that. I don't know. Oh, Hanson's with an O, I think. Yeah, spelling it with an Hanson band. Yeah, American pop rock band from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Taylor, Zach, and Isaac Hanson. Oh, they had Bop. That was not Skinny Bop, which makes sense. That sounds more like Tube Top. 1997 hit. Yeah, so they were popular from 97 to the beginning of the aughts. I mean, their peak of their popularity. But they're still, 2000, this is the 10th anniversary in 2008. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen them playing places. Oh, they had a holiday album in some point in the, whatever you call it, the 10s, or I don't know. And yeah, new albums in 2021 and 2022. But that's who's saying, not Unskinny Bop. We're learning stuff here. Let's just see what happens when we look up Rodeo Clown on Wikipedia. If I can spell rodeo. No. Rodeo Clown. CLOWN. Rodeo Clown is a rodeo performer who works in competitions and is a distraction. I guess that's right. We should never mind. But it is kind of like their job is to distract the bull. That's kind of like my job is yeah. So a lot of you are familiar with The Sandman, Neil Gaiman's graphic novel, comic book from DC. Now a show. I haven't started watching it yet. With Morpheus and Dream. But yeah, I'll definitely watch it. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, I'm always happy for successes stuff, Neil Gaiman stuff. So it was one of the first graphic novels ever to be on the New York Times bestseller list, and also to be on EW's 100 Best Reads. And here's it. Various television and film adaptations have been developed. There was going to be a film with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Wow. And there have been full cast audio dramas. And there's a television adaptation that's now on the air. Scones is another thing. I don't know if scones would be on. Scone is a baked good. I think we've covered this in Great British Bake Off. A scone in the U.S. and England is a little bit different, but it looks good here. A scone is more like a biscuit. Wheat or oatmeal baking powder is a leavening agent. Baked on sheet pans, slightly sweetened. Could be glazed with egg wash or a glaze. And it's a component of cream tea. It differs from tea cakes, which are made with yeast. Pomade. That's what pomade. Pomade is a hairstyling product, or French pomade. Greasy, waxy, or water-based substance gives a shiny, slick appearance. That's Jamie's. Lasts longer than most hair care products, but it could be multiple washes to get it out. Could be made from bear fat, lard, lanolin, beeswax, petroleum jelly, used in things like the Pomodoro. Goes back a long time. Modern resurgence with the popularity of the disconnected undercut hairstyle, buzzed or faded sides, longer top, which is disconnected from the side hair. It was affordable in the 20th century with a hair clipper to cheaply and quickly shave the sides ahead, leaving the long top hair to be styled with pomade. In the 2010s, it was popular from WW2 films and people like David Beckham and Brad Pitt having that style of hair. Pomade community and its use. It does not dry, so it keeps the hair flexible and lasts. I don't think I've ever used pomade because of its greasy, waxy nature. You might need high detergent shampoo or dishwashing liquid, something for oily hair. Okay, the Harlem Globetrotters. I just want to look up their theme here. Let's see if I can find it. They've had 97 championships, been around since 1926, so not too long from their 100th anniversary. Current roster, draft, trying to find the song here. A lot of uses in popular culture, honorary members. It's got to be in here somewhere. Okay, I can't believe I didn't realize this. It's the name of the song is Sweet Georgia Brown. It's a standard composed by Ben Burney and Maceo Pinkard with lyrics by Kenneth Casey. 1911, published 1925. When did it become? There's different renditions. It was adopted as a theme song of the Harlem Globetrotters in 1952. Because one of the most popular versions of Sweet Georgia Brown was recorded in 1949 by Brother Bones and his Shadows. So there you go. Okay, now let's, we say we watch the episode. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so got it rolling here. And it starts off the thing, and Nate's turned on the lights. Looks like there's acoustic panels, washing machine, no dirty boots, only clean boots, towels folded, jerseys ready. Who are you? Will, clubhouse attendant. No, you're not. Ted's playing him. Have I been sacked? Higgins doesn't know. He insults Rebecca. Why do you need my name for your contract? It's worse. You've been promoted. The whole team's there. The whole team's there in casual things to turn to cheer him on. There's confetti, and then he gets an ace and shall I present you this whistle, but it's never been blown. And I promote you, Coach Nate. With cheers, he blows a whistle. Episode opens. And they're talking about Mr. Muscle. Roy comes in, Don't want to be captain. I can't be captain because I'm not starting. You pick. No, I pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 exchanges about, and then Ted makes it disappear in his hand, puts it on Roy's head. Beard's reaction makes it, and he says he does love you. Here's the unskinny Bob, Manchester City. Well, we can't get relegated. It's not good for the team. Basically get demoted to another league. Like the closest thing would be in the U.S. would be like a baseball, you'd be, because that's like NBA is becoming like that, where, I mean, not with relegation, but at least with different leagues, you know. There's Jamie, no barbers because he's got his little boy haircut. He says, yeah, they're, you know, he says some not nice things about everybody, including Ted, Roy, and, you know, the team. You know, Nate gets, Isaac gets very irritated. Championship is below the Premier League. So if you get relegated, then you're in the championship. Then the fellas of the pub come, hey, you did your best. It wasn't good. Baz says, but why don't you have some hope? Have you learned it's a hope that kills you? And let's text Nate. We got work to do. Then they're at Ted's apartment working. Can't just tie. If one of my games, you know, if they win by 6, we can tie. Okay, let's don't blow the whistle. My neighbors won't like it. Nate says it's hopeless. Ted puts his hands on his knees. I'm sorry, it's hopeless. And he runs out of the room. Beard's like, oh boy. Takes his one piece of popcorn. Are those only clothes you own? No, I have a bunch of sets of them. Ted has a believe thing. Yeah, this is in the bathroom mirror. You know, when I don't want to floss, I look at believe. Believe can't score goals. Couple of Nelsons. Pessimistic. Sorry, Shipley. Negative Nellies. Ted brings biscuits to the boss. What's going on, Ted? You all right? Maybe you should have had a soccer coach for your football club. But do what you need to do, you know, if we don't lose. If we don't, you know, whatever. So you're not a proper football manager. There's a saying in Dutch football, which I'm going to say in English. Every disadvantage has its advantage. And basically says the same thing about being different or weird. You have an advantage because you don't think like everybody else. So who'd have thought to make a podcast to put people to sleep, except for, you know, and to listen. So thank you. Okay, trick plays, a.k.a. elaborate set pieces, chaos, stun, and confuse everybody. So let's go through some. Danny, the Sandman, we're around the house on Los Tigres, Pepper Shakers, Beckham something, poutine, Midnight Poutine, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Broken Tap, make them leak, then other ones, I don't know if I can say, because the guys are even lasting. Put Lasso special up there. And we're going to bring some chaos. Let's go. Oh, yeah. And then that's when James like, no, wax. I need pomade. And then he gets a selfie with the selfie kid. Wicked. Can't believe you got dumped by Richmond. It was Lasso. You know, Lasso loves you, man. So he shows a thing where Ted's saying nice things about Jamie. Jamie, of course, thinks it's a game. He texts Keeley. Shows up, Roy answers the door. Roy's got, egg socks on. That's what it must have been. Scones? I'm not making scones, dude. I made you coffee. Jamie brought you 2 coffees for Keely. This wouldn't be the time in the musical, where she would be singing it. I guess, yeah, because you changed the time of events probably, so would be. I guess it would be. No, she would already decided. But anyway, not everybody's trying to mess with you, Jamie. Roy doesn't like you, but other people do. And see you tomorrow. Enjoy the view from the bench and your mushy peas, Roy. Then FaceTiming. But, you know, when you FaceTime with kids from the distance, anybody. But again, Ted talks about how hope it's kind of like being a parent. I drew a robot. Great. Then they get it's a night match. Richmond fans are hyped. Keely used to just go to these games. She never cared about football, but I could just perform at a match. She does say turnip. So it wasn't my handwriting. But now she cares because, she just cares about Roy, Arlo, and Powell. And we got Bex and Rupert, the pub. May gives out free shots. Then the Higginses, a little kid, another kid, another kid, another kid, and a priest. Don't worry, he's a cool priest. Okay. What's it like to be on the brink of relegation? This is when Roy makes Isaac a captain. On the down low, don't stop, losing your temper on behalf of the team. Pats his knee. And Ted comes in. They actually had all the trick plays on the board. That's probably a cool screen cap. All right, you guys know, I disagree about that phrase. It's the lack of hope that gets you. I believe in hope. I believe in belief. Where I'm from, we got a saying, actually, a question. Do you believe in miracles? I don't need y'all to answer that. Just answer for yourself right now. Do you believe? Oh, boy, I almost cried when Sam smiled. Do you believe in miracles? Well, if you do, get over here. Captain, let them know. All right. And Richmond on 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12. Go Richmond. I'm sure there's a reason he skipped 8, like an Isaac, like it wasn't an accident. I don't know who number 8 is. Roy's on the bench. Ted says, hi, Jamie. Match begins. Here we go. Hendrick, Tart, takes it himself, but Zorro is there. Zorro, 30 minutes gone. Offsides. Ted says, can you explain to me what offsides is? Really? Wait a second. Okay, this is one. What were they talking about? Heineken vinegar ketchup. Vinegar to Heineken to ketchup to pass the ball. Okay, I understand, or something. Come on, Richmond, corner kick. All right, let's do the Sandman. Here we go. Danny flubs it, and then a bunch of people pass over. Almost rocked him to sleep. And that's halftime. This is 0-0. Thanks to the stellar play of Zorro. No. We don't care about Crystal Palace. We're not playing for a tie. And he says, okay, adrenaline. He goes, we're playing for a win. Win and in, you hear? All right. Roy, you're starting the second half. Roy's captain again. People are cheering. Surprising move because they needed speed. Octonagarian or something. Penalty against Richmond. They don't show what happens. Oh, Hendrick gets it. And they're up 1-0. There's a long shot of Ted staring. People are cheering. Rebecca and Higgins' wife. Roy catches up with Jamie and clean tackle, slide tackle. Attaboy Roy. That's when Roy goes out of the game. But he did stop a goal. Somebody says Tortoise takes down the hare. And I say Roy's knees. They say get up. Roy, and everybody's saying Roy can't. He's here. He's there. Every frown away with a frown. He's everywhere. Roy Kent. He's here. He's there. He's frowning everywhere. Roy Kent. And everybody's cheering for him. Nods at Ted. Heads collapse to the crowd. Jamie's stunned. And he goes in the locker room. You have to wonder, Arlo, what's the future for Roy Kent? Sorry to say, it might be his last boot. He looks at his locker, throws his jersey down, sits down, puts his head down. That's when Keeley comes in. You're not allowed back here. This is how I behave all the time. You know, I want to be alone. Please don't come, within my... She takes his hand first, looks at him, puts her arm, puts his, and just holds him. And actually, he takes her hand. That's when everybody checks their phones. Crystal Palace game must be over. Nate's 26,000 people are checking their phones. Crystal Palace won 6-0. All we need is a tie, boys. Come on, Richmond. There's hope. Ricard goes down. Very, Celsa injury. And they're going to do Lasso special, Isaac calls it. And it's kind of like American football, which is very confusing. And everybody's like, what is they doing? Never seen anything like this. And even somebody in motion, Soro is yelling number, hike. Richmond players fan out, total chaos. Sam takes it, passes it to Danny, and he does like a full volley or something. I don't know if that's a butterfly kick, windmill, I don't know. And everybody's cheering, we got a tie, but nobody's paying attention, right? And they let their guard down. And Jamie takes it by himself, but then does the extra pass and scores, and that's it. Air's out of the room. People fall to their knees, heads go down, looks of dismay, hands in head, 2-1. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, Ted says after the game. Tough loss. Congratulate Pep and Jamie. Henry's proud of you and made this robot. That's what Ted's text says, more or less. Jamie's dad wanted him to score. And then there's the locker room. There's a couple of people in suits I don't recognize. Ted doesn't need water. He says, what's up with that kid? Give me water. You didn't win, but you succeeded. You did great. So let's clap for everybody who did really good. And there's nothing I can say to take away things, but do me this favor. Lift your heads up and look around. Look at everybody else. I want you to be grateful that we're together going through this moment. He really delivers this speech. Holy cow. Because, being alone is hard. And who's, shortest memory goldfish. So when we're done being sad or angry, let's be like a goldfish. Gosh darn goldfish. Onward, forward. Ted walks into his office. Manchester City bus. What do you want? Jamie says, night, Jamie. Beard says, a love letter. Jamie makes a face. I have that attitude that Jamie has sometimes about stuff, but way to make the extra pass. Jamie almost smiles, does contemplate it. And then Higgins and Rebecca, okay, I'll leave you. Leslie, that's my mother's name. Yeah, it's my name too. Shakes Ted's hand. Take a seat, Ted. Tea? Nope. Still not drinking tea. I'll take a water, though. And, it's kind of unfair. You have to fire me, so let me just quit. Here's my resignation letter. Put it on a takeout menu, but I signed it. Listen up, Ted. We got work to do next season. Okay. All right, then. Wait, tell me this. We can get unrelegated. Yeah, promoted, they call it. Promotion. Well... then maybe we can win the whole thing. And then Ted takes bubbly water, spits in Rebecca's face. Did I get you? And the last image is her face soaking soaking wet with bubble water. What do they call it? Spit take, right? That's what it's called. And yeah, that's the end of the episode and the end of the season. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll do the second season at some point in the future, but we will do one episode from the second season that's coming up here. And yeah, we'll, do some other stuff, and then we'll come back to Ted Lasso around whenever we started this last year. Thanks, and good night, everybody. I want to thank everybody that has become a patron recently. I want to thank Carrie, Edith, and Rachel. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Cassie, Jesse, and Abe, thank you, thanks, and good night. Lydia, Peaches, and Wilbur, thank you, thanks, and good night. Jess, Elizabeth, and Molly, thank you, thanks, and good night. Marlena, Vicky, and Emma, thanks, and good night. I want to thank Hevie, Kayla, and Mel, thank you, thanks, and good night. I want to thank Nate and Kirsten, thank you, thanks, and good night. And I want to thank Sarah and Mark, thanks, and good night. Thanks, everybody, for helping make sure the show's here for free twice a week. I couldn't do it without you. And everybody that supports the sponsors. And that's how we're able to be here for free twice a week. And thanks for everybody that spreads the word about the podcast. Wow, people, when I'm recording this, have really been sharing their Instagram stories on Twitter. And other places I really, really appreciate. Couldn't do it without all your support. So thank you so much. And what do you say we slow? Oh no, here's some Tuck You In sponsors. That's how we're able to grow the archive so much. Thanks and good night. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, BetterHelp. I don't know about you, but I always wished life it came with a user manual, whether it's dealing with my thoughts or my feelings or, what's getting in the way of me falling asleep or my relationships with other people. I don't have a user manual, but what I do have is a work I do with my therapist. And yeah, unfortunately, life doesn't come with a user manual. So when it's not working for you, it's normal to feel stuck. Navigating any of life's challenges can make you feel unsure, whether it's a career change, a new relationship, or becoming a parent. Therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and learn productive coping skills, which makes therapy the closest thing to a guided tour of the complex engine called you. BetterHelp has connected over 3 million people with licensed therapists. It's convenient and accessible anywhere, 100% online. And I know from my work I do in therapy every single week that BetterHelp is a great option. It's an option I recommend to people in my personal life because I get so much out of therapy. I get coping skills. It helps me be my best self and be my best self with other people in my life, and also deal with other people when they're not at their best. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists. Therapists available 100% online, plus it's affordable. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. There's no waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/sleepwithme. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/sleepwithme. Thanks, everybody.